Bad Batch Episode 4, Cornered. So I really enjoyed this episode. It gives us our first look at Fennec Shand in the Clone Wars animation style. This made me really appreciate her costume. Like, before I was just like, I kind of like it, it's kind of cool, but it was, I guess because they were literally filming in, like, actual sunlight, it just kind of looked all black. And in this, I was like, oh, I can see kind of the minute details. I can see, more of the patterns and stuff, more of the grays, on the black. And I was like, oh, I actually like her costume a lot more in this. So I just got to kind of realize it a little bit more. So I thought that was cool, for one. Two, she was pretty good. I thought what she did was interesting, like the way that she came up on Omega, where it's like, oh, hey, she did the classic thing where it's like, I'm actually a good guy. And then, they have a little conversation. And then, of course, Hunter's like, something's off. So I like how they handled the episode. I thought the chase through the city was really good. We got speeder bikes, favorite vehicle in all of Star Wars. So that's always a bonus. And I like the way it was handled. First off, Fennec Shand might be a robot already. Like, she was dropping off of some trucks, off of, like, all these ships flying. Like, she got off, I think, she got knocked off we'll call it the garbage truck. So she got knocked off the garbage truck. I think she was knocked off a second truck as well. Then I think there was an explosion for the third truck, or whatever the third vehicle was. And I think technically she bounced off of like a taxi or something, and then she rolled and landed on the ground. And I was like, man, she's got some crazy strength. She was like doing the one-arm grab and stuff and lifting herself up. I'm like, this woman is nuts. Are we sure she's not like already part robot here, like part droid or something? Because she was taking some hits, and when she was getting up as if she was an augmented clone, I was like, she is tough, and it was really cool to watch. So I liked her character for sure. They don't actually show who she's working for, which I thought that was pretty interesting. I would assume it's Kamino, like, it's like, hey, we want our stuff back. But the way they seem, just as characters in general, it doesn't seem like they would hire bounty hunters to do that, especially considering it makes more sense that they would have, they would kind of want all of them back. But at the same time, when they were talking about having their data or whatever, having their property returned to them, we didn't know if they were referring to, like, all of the clones or just the Bad Batch or just Omega. And I would assume Omega's the special one, because she's a new character. Anyone new, there's something in there. So her being the newest clone, and we still don't know who she's based after, being like the only female clone we've actually seen. Doubt it's Satine, but I'm just like, that's all I got. That's all I have right now. So it's kind of hard to say if it's like the Kaminoans. I always forget how to actually say it. I don't know if they would do that, just in case they could find a better way to kind of get the DNA from the Bad Batch themselves. So I feel like they would have put more out there. But at the same time, if she's the most special, then who cares about them? So it's hard to tell, but that's kind of that's like the logical option. But they could also throw in like a twist option, because this show has like, I think we still have like 12 episodes to go or more than that. So it's like they could easily be like, all right, well, it would be them, and that seems like the logical thing. But also they wouldn't really hire a bounty hunter, so it could be someone from the Empire, which doesn't really make a lot of sense. It seems, they aren't really involved in that, although they might be. I don't know. That always seemed like it was so specific to the Kaminoans that the Empire wasn't really involved with Omega and her upbringing. So it doesn't really make much sense. And then once again, so many episodes, they could just throw in the twist like, yeah, it was a third party. It was somebody brand new. We just made it up, and here's why they want Omega. They know the secret or whatever. So that could be it too. And I thought it was interesting that they didn't show it, because I'm like, It could be simple. It could just be like, yeah, they'll show it in the next episode, and it was just to kind of tease us along to be like, who is she talking to? Or at the same time, there could be a reason for that. Because if it was the Kaminoans, it's just like, well, just show them. It's like, oh, okay, they hired a bounty hunter because they want to get her back. Easy. But they didn't. And so it's like, brings up some questions there. Also, Wrecker hit his head again. They brushed past it this time. I thought he was going to do something cool. I'll be honest. I thought he was actually going to last for a little bit, and she just did like a classic, I think it was basically like judo. Like, she basically was just like, okay, and just threw him into a wall, and he hit his head, and he fell on the ground. And I was like, He didn't say his head hurt or anything like that, and they kind of brushed past it. It's just a thing. But I was like, oh, he hit his head again, huh? That's interesting. That's some real breadcrumb type stuff. So we'll see. But they didn't touch on it. He just hit his head. And then he was a little dizzy for a little second. He wasn't even dizzy for a super long time. He was dizzy for a little bit. Got his bearing straight. He got out of the sewer. But still, like, that's 2 in a row. And I don't know. Coincidence and patterns and stuff. So we'll see what happens. But that was the second time. Brush past it once again. But I'm like, I did see that. He's the only person that's hit his head so far where they made a big deal. And then he hit his head again. No big deal. But they showed it. So We'll see what happens. I think they're gonna have to kill Wrecker. I'm just saying they're gonna have to do some effed up stuff. Wrecker's gotta go. Also, Echo got a new costume. He looks super sweet. That was an amazing costume for him. Like to look like a droid. That looks super cool to me. I was like, this is like I know he's got like his Bad Batch costume, like the uniform of the group. But I was like, that's kind of sweet though. Like it was basically all black. I like the mask they have for the face, and obviously he has the Scomp Link, so it was kind of easy to just be like, oh yeah, he's totally a droid. But I was like, that looks pretty cool. I actually really like that. I don't think we should expect a figure of that. Like for anyone who's in the Hot Toys realm of the Hot Toys, I forgot I even put that back there. The Bounty Hunter episode, so I bust out the shirt again. I don't know if we'll get a figure of that, but I was like, that costume actually looks really cool on him, and I just like that. I like the design that they made, and like just even the face, the droid face. So I was like, that looks really cool. So he ends up being sold for like 2,000, 3,000 credits. Thought that was funny. I thought that was a cool little scene where it's like, oh, we need money. Hold on a second. It's like, look, if we're gonna figure this out, we get the money now. You just go ahead and stand around for a little bit. We'll deal with this situation. No big deal. I'll give you the signal, and you can just walk out. We need the money. So he gets sold as a droid, which I thought was pretty cool. And then of course we get a C droid, like C3PO, C3 droid. So I guess it would just be a C droid. The 3PO part is by itself. So a C droid. And I thought that was cool. I thought that was cool. It was just like, all right, he's just kind of trapped. And then, of course, he's like, all right, I'm taking over. And then, of course, they needed the droids for the ship. So it's like, now I'm taking over and we're going to leave. So, of course, they end up doing that. They fix the ship. Everything's fine. They take off. Fennec Shand doesn't kill that guy at the end. I was kind of surprised by that. I thought she would at least not pay him. I didn't actually expect her to kill him. I thought she would just be annoyed and then just not pay him. But she still pays him. It's like, look, if they come back, you know how to get in touch. And I was like, well, that's really interesting. She's got, a decent bit of honor, which I think kind of fits based on some of the stuff we saw in The Mandalorian. But I enjoyed it. I thought the action was cool. I thought the chase sequence was great. Well, I wouldn't say great. It wasn't like, holy crap. It was a good chase sequence, though. They somewhat involved the cops. Like, they technically showed up, but I feel like they disappeared so fast during the sequence where it was like, oh, like all the debris and stuff was falling from the truck. And, I think they actually, like, stopped the truck at some point. Honestly, I think I blinked and I missed whatever happened to them. I honestly don't remember, but they were in it for such a quick second. I was like, oh, this is going to, like, cause a big issue for them because Hunter was already trying to chase them down, and then the cops got involved. And then they kind of disappeared so fast. I was like, wait, what happened to them? Like, I literally think I did something else, and then I missed what happened with them, and it was just like, it was instant, and then they were already gone, and it was like back to our main character. So I thought that was kind of funny. It was just like, they didn't do much. Like, even when they were doing the whole stuff where it's like, oh, we have reports of this and that, they were hardly in it for it to be like this crazy citywide thing, and they're on scanners and all this other stuff. I was like, they were not as much of an issue as I thought they were going to be from the beginning, where it was like, oh, this chaos is happening and there's these explosions going off. There's going to be like a swarm, and Hunter's going to have to find his way to maneuver through an entire police force to get to Omega and, save her from Fennec. And that didn't happen. And I was like, oh, still cool, but I just thought for sure it was going to be way more chaotic for him. And it was kind of simple. He just followed them, and then the cops were kind of there for a second or two, and then that was it. And everything was great. I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. Big explosion, all this other stuff. It was like, what, 4? I think they technically showed like 4 of the police. They showed some in like the very beginning, and then they showed the 2 that popped in like during the actual chase. But it was pretty quick, and I was like, all right, bye. But I enjoyed the chase. I thought it was good. I am excited to see what they do with Fennec Shand, and I'm really curious how they're going to tie that into some of the stuff with Crosshair. At this point, she kind of has Crosshair's role, because I thought that's what they were going to do with him. And of course, they showed in the last episode, it was like, no, we're going to have him go off and he's going to teach the original Stormtrooper. So he's doing his own thing. So it seems like he probably won't be going out too soon. But I think I mentioned in my last review, I think they're going to have their ultimate goal be like, all right, Fennec Shand is going to eventually fail enough times to where she's going to take off. So she'll be out, and then it'll be like, all right, now we can bring Crosshair back in, and he'll have his group. Like, they might not show us them for a couple more episodes, and then it'll kind of be a classic montage sort of deal where it's like, okay, this much time has passed, so now he's the leader of, like, a really well-trained group of stormtroopers who will do anything that they're told to do, including kill civilians. So I feel like they're kind of saving them up, so now we have Fennec Shand as, like, our classic bounty hunter, of course, also tying into the Mandalorian. And so once she's out of the picture, because like I said, she fell enough times, or maybe she'll just decide, oh, it's just a kid, and they're trying to protect this kid, she'll have a change of heart or whatever. She'll be gone. Crosshair comes back with his team, and then we have 2 teams pitted against each other. We'll see what happens with the whole Wrecker thing, because that could throw some turmoil in there. But I feel like that's where we're headed. I think Finnick is going to be here maybe a couple more episodes. We have a lot for this season, so I definitely think she'll show up at least 2 more episodes. I think we get at least 2 more episodes out of her, and then it's going to be like, all right, she backs off, Crosshair comes in, he's got the stormtroopers, they're going to hunt down the Bad Batch, and I don't know what they would do. That's why I don't think it involves the Empire as far as like getting Omega back, because I don't know if he would just go in and kill her, or what the deal would really be with that. I don't know how the Kaminoans might be able to explain it, like, oh, please don't kill her, we need her back to help her, whatever. So I am curious how that's going to end up playing out as far as what's really going to happen when Crosshair comes up against the team. Like, he's going to, of course, try to kill off all his old friends, but what happens with Omega in that situation? So I am curious about that. But all in all, it was a decent action episode. Fennec Shan was really cool. I feel like I have to say her whole name. Like, just saying Fennec, I don't know, it's like Fennec Shan. It's just, I don't know why. I just like her name. But I enjoyed the episode. Of course, we'll love to know what you guys thought about it. So please put your comments down in the comment section below. Let me know your favorite parts about it, your least favorite parts about it. I would love to know who you guys think Fennec is working for. Like I said, it could have been easy and just like, well, of course it's the Kaminoans, whatever. But they didn't show it, and I feel like that's intentionally a tease when you don't just make it obvious. Like, yeah, obviously it's this person, and they didn't do that, and it's just like, so it's left for us to theorize because they left it that way. They could have easily shown it, and that makes me feel like, all right, well, it could just be a little trick. It could even be like the Wrecker thing. That might not mean anything. They could just be like, oh, he hit his head. He did it again, 2 episodes in a row. It might not mean anything. It could be red herrings all over the place. Like, it could just be like, we left it that way just because. And then the next episode is just like, no, it was just them. It was them. They hired her. No big deal. It's like, I just don't know. So it's hard to tell. They might be trying to trick us. They might actually be teasing something. It's hard to tell, but I would love to know your thoughts on it. And like I said, definitely want to know what you guys thought about this episode as a whole. So please put your comments down in the comment section below. And of course, thanks for watching.